Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Prayavajankacharya Asatras Rishushimat. His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Nanati Gaura Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem Sikha Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar. Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Maya Pranari Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Jamuna Maya Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai, Go Premanandi. All glories to some of the devotees, all glories to some of the devotees. All glories to some of the devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning, reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 24, Text number 20. Varteta. Brahmaṇā, vipro, rājanyo, rakṣayā, bhuvaḥ, vaiśyas, tu, vartayā, jīvec, chūdras, tu, dvija-sevayā, varteta brahmaṇā vipro, rājanyo rakṣayā bhuvaḥ, vaiśyas tu vārtayā jīvec, chūdras tu dvija-sevayā, varteta brahmaṇā vipro, rājanyo rakṣayā bhuvaḥ, vaiśyas tu vārtayā jīvec, chūdras tu dvija-sevayā, varteta brahmaṇā vipro, rājanyo rakṣayā bhuvaḥ, vaiśyas tu vārtayā jīvec, chūdras tu dvija-sevayā. Just as a matter of etiquette, the devotees should allow the sannyasis and senior devotees to chant first. It's more etiquette. Matajis. Varteta lives. Brahmaṇā by the Vedas. Vipraḥ, brāhmaṇa. Rājanyaḥ, the member of the ruling class. Rakṣayā, by protection. Bhuvaḥ, of the earth. Vaiśya, the vaiśya. Tu, on the other hand. Vartayā, by trade. Jīvet, lives. Śūdra, the śūdra. Tu, and. Dvija-sevayā, by serving the twice-born brāhmaṇas. Kṣatriyas and vaiśyas. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So there's a few verses here with short purports. We'll go for a few verses. The Brahmana maintains his life by studying and teaching the Vedas. The member of the royal order by practicing, by protecting the earth. The Vaisya by trade, and the Śūdra by serving the higher twice-born classes. Purport. After glorifying karma or work, Lord Kṛṣṇa now explains what he means by prescribed duties born of one's nature. He was not referring to any whimsical activity, but rather to the religious duties prescribed in the varṇāśrama, or Vedic social system. 21. The occupational duties of the Vaisya are conceived in 4 divisions: farming, commerce, cow protection, and money lending. Out of these, we as a community are always engaged in cow protection. So who's speaking here? Kṛṣṇa. Text 22. The cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction are the 3 modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. In particular, the mode of passion creates this universe, and through sexual combination causes it to become full of variety. Purport. Anticipating the possible objection that a livelihood based on cows certainly depends on Lord Indra, who supplies rain, Lord Kṛṣṇa here introduces a mechanistic theory of existence known as atheistic Sankhya, the tendency to attribute exclusive causality to the apparently mechanistic functions of nature is an old tendency indeed. 5,000 years ago, Lord Kṛṣṇa referred to a doctrine already well known in human society. 23. Impelled by the material mode of passion, the clouds pour down their rain everywhere. And by this rain, all creatures gain their sustenance. What has the great Indra to do with this arrangement? Purport. Lord Kṛṣṇa continues his mechanistic explanation of existence, concluding, Mahindra kim karishyati. Who needs the great Indra, since the rain sent by the clouds, which in turn are impelled by the mode of passion, is actually producing everyone's food? The word sarvata indicates that the clouds magnanimously send their rain even on the ocean, rocks, and barren land, where there is no apparent necessity for such sweet water. 24. My dear Father, our home is not in the cities or towns or villages. Being forest dwellers, we always live in the forest and on the hills. Purport. Lord Kṛṣṇa here points out that the residents of Vrindavan should recognize their relationship with Govardhan Hill and with the forest of Vrindavan and not worry about a distant demigod like Indra. Having concluded his argument, Lord Kṛṣṇa makes a radical proposal in the following verse. 25. Therefore, may a sacrifice for the pleasure of the cows, the brāhmaṇas, and Govardhan Hill begin. With all the paraphernalia collected for worshipping Indra, let this sacrifice be performed instead. Purport. Lord Kṛṣṇa is famous as Go Brahmaṇa Hitaya, the well-wishing friend of the cows and the brāhmaṇas. Lord Kṛṣṇa specifically included the local brāhmaṇas in his proposal because he is always devoted to those who are devoted to the godly Vedic culture. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshum Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurve Namaha Mukham Kotavatalang Pangundang Hayate Gurim Yat Kripa Taraham Vande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Vanchakalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Twice in these verses Kṛṣṇa mentions that he's very fond of the brāhmaṇas. And there's a reason for that. The brāhmaṇas, they have 6 activities: yajan, yajan, putan, patan, dana, what is it? Dana? Pagrigraha. Something. So they learn the Vedas and they teach the Vedas. This is the main activity of the brāhmaṇas. They study and they teach. And also they worship the Lord and they teach others how to worship. They accept donations and they give charity as well. So what is it that the brāhmaṇas are teaching that's so pleasing to Kṛṣṇa? So Kṛṣṇa comes and he teaches. He taught the Bhagavad-Gita. And the brāhmaṇas, they learn the Bhagavad-Gita. They learn the Srimad Bhagavatam. They learn so many scriptures. And they teach it. So this is what is needed in society. Srila Prabhupada, he said he wanted to create a society of brāhmaṇas because there was practically no brāhmaṇas. No brāhmaṇas means practically no head, because the example is given that the brāhmaṇas, they're compared to the head. The kṣatriyas, they're compared to the arm. They got the strength. The vaiśyas, the belly, and the śūdras, the legs. So without a head in society, we have what we have now, a lot of chaos. So Prabhupada wanted to create brāhmaṇas who could study the Vedas, and they could also teach the Vedas. And it's not like, some think that, well, if you're born into a brāhmana family, then you're automatically a brāhmana. That's so, even to think that it's just ironic, you know. It's like, imagine someone's born into a family of doctors. The mother's a doctor, the father's a doctor, and automatically he's a doctor. Doesn't have to study, doesn't have to go to school, it's automatic. No, he's got to go through the whole schooling to become a doctor. So similarly, to be a brāhmana, you gotta learn, you gotta practice. What are the qualities of the brāhmana? Samo dhamas tapaso cham shantir arjam evacha jnana vijnanam astikam brahma karma sabhaya. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom. These are the qualities of the brāhmanas. But it's actually mentioned that in the Vedas that in this age of Kali, demons take birth in the family of brāhmanas. So it's a very unusual age. And what's really ironic is that there's Westerners that are taking up Kṛṣṇa consciousness and becoming actual brāhmanas. It's really ironic. This is the Shakti of Srila Prabhupada, that he was able to turn crows into swans, preaching the message of Kṛṣṇa all over the world. Srila Prabhupada ki! So Srila Prabhupada, he left us a great mission. Prabhupada, he said that his spiritual master left him the mission. You know, he inherited the mission, pretty much. There was other God brothers that were preaching, but Prabhupada actually, he really spread Kṛṣṇa consciousness all over the world. And now he's left it for us. So we have this big responsibility of spreading Kṛṣṇa consciousness. But we have to be sadachar. Sadachar means that we have to act with purified consciousness, purified activities. This is sadachar. And by hearing and chanting, preaching, we get purified. We get purified of all this contamination. So they come to teach, the brāhmanas, they come to teach the Vedas, the message. And one of the main teachings is they teach us how to get out of this world, how to become pure and go back to the spiritual world. We become, actually we're all in the spiritual world, we became a little rebellious. Who here in this lifetime was rebellious to your parents? Yeah. Actually, when we became Hare Krishnas, we became rebellious. Because many of them, I don't think any of them had an intention for us to become a Hare Krishna. A little disappointing. So, we were rebellious to Krishna. And now we're trying to become good citizens again. Not easy. Just like here in India, there's the civil department and there's the criminal department. Now, if you're in the civil department, you could, more or less, run your life nicely. But if you're in the criminal department, very chaotic, very difficult. So, we here in this material world, we're in the criminal department. We've rebelled against Krishna. Now we're trying to become good citizens again. Not easy. It's a big challenge to become good citizens again. There's a nice little pastime with Srila Prabhupada and Syama Sundar. Syama Sundar, he joined in 1967. And he was doing nicely. He was appreciating Krishna consciousness. Him and his, I guess, fiancée, Malati, at that time, Milaine, I think. He went in to see Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I have some bad news. I have to go to jail. And Prabhupada said, oh, don't worry. Krishna, he was born in jail. And Prabhupada asked him, so why do you have to go to jail? I was selling drugs, Prabhupada. I also was selling drugs. He was in the pharmaceutical business. So Prabhupada said, no, don't worry, you won't be there very long. They're going to see what a good boy you are, and they're going to let you out early. In America, they have this saying that you get out on good time. You have good behavior, they let out you early. Here in India also, they have the same? Yeah? No? So they have that. So, similarly, we had our karma. But somehow, by Krishna's mercy, we're taking up Krishna consciousness. So we can get out of this prison by good behavior. And this is the nature of a brahmana, is they have good behavior. They know what to do, and they know what not to do. Previously, we didn't know what to do. We were doing all the wrong things. We thought it was perfectly all right to eat meat, to take intoxication. No problem. Then we got this knowledge. Whoa, this is not good. So we stopped. So this is the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. He wanted to spread Krishna consciousness, as I think I heard yesterday, all over the universe. Wow. But I heard Srila Prabhupada, he said that he wanted everyone to have at least one BBT book. One. And all the leaders in society, they should have a Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada wanted this knowledge to be spread so that people could learn what to do, what not to do. So in these teachings we get so many instructions, wonderful instructions. And Prabhupada, he also taught us a very nice lesson through, this is another Syama Sundar story, who spent quite a bit of time with Prabhupada. This was in 1970. Prabhupada was traveling. This is the first time that many devotees had come. I think there was maybe 25 or 30 devotees had come from around the world. Prabhupada was preaching in India. Syama Sundar, Malati, and little Saraswati. They were with this party, and they were in Madras, and they were staying at one minister's home. And he was very fond of the devotees. So he let the devotees have one level of his house, one flat of the house, just for the devotees. Must have been a pretty big house. So he was very fond of little Saraswati. So he gave her a little silver murti of Kṛṣṇa. And she was so happy to have this murti of Kṛṣṇa. Just overjoyed. Very Krishna conscious little girl. She would go up to people and say, do you know who Kṛṣṇa is? No, who is Kṛṣṇa? He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada was very fond of that. This little girl is going and preaching. So Prabhupada told this minister, he said, it's nice you've given her this gift, but this is a very expensive gift. Silver. Do you have something a little less expensive? He said, yes, I have. So he took this little silver, she had left it on the table, so he took this little silver murti. And then she came back and she's looking for the murti, looking for Kṛṣṇa. And she asked always, where's Kṛṣṇa? Where's Kṛṣṇa? And Prabhupada caught her, immediately caught her mood. Prabhupada said, maybe she's in the bedroom. Go check the bedroom. She darted into the bedroom, looking around. No, Prabhupada, he's not there. And go look in the kitchen, check the kitchen. She's running around looking. No, Kṛṣṇa, he's not there, Prabhupada. He's not there. Go in the dining room, look in the dining room. She darts in there looking everywhere for Kṛṣṇa. She's looking everywhere. Then Prabhupada starts chanting a verse. He Radhe Vrajadevike Chalalite He Nanda Suno Kuta Shri Govardhana Kalpamatale Kalindi Vanye Kuta Gosanta Vriti Sarvato Vrajapare Kedar Mahavivalo Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, they were going everywhere looking for Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa, the son of Maharaj Nanda, Radharani, the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. They were going looking. Are they on Govardhan Hill? Are they on the bank of the Jamuna? Where is Kṛṣṇa? They're looking, where is Kṛṣṇa? Where is Kṛṣṇa? Where is Kṛṣṇa? Where is Kṛṣṇa? So she had this mood. Where is Kṛṣṇa? Looking everywhere. So finally she came back to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I can't find Kṛṣṇa. Now she's practically in tears. And Shyama Sundar says to little Saraswati, Saraswati, who has Kṛṣṇa? And then it dawned on her. Prabhupada has Kṛṣṇa. So she went to Prabhupada and she paid obeisances. Prabhupada, you have Kṛṣṇa? Yes, I have Kṛṣṇa. By then, the man had returned with one of these nicely painted clay murtis of Kṛṣṇa. Wasn't the same, but she had Kṛṣṇa, so she was happy. She had gotten Kṛṣṇa. So all the devotees were amazed to see Prabhupada bring out so much devotion from this little girl, 5-year-old girl. And they were amazed to see devotion for Kṛṣṇa come out of them by this association with Srila Prabhupada. So Kṛṣṇa is there in the hearts of everyone. And Prabhupada's instructing us here that anybody can attain this devotion for Kṛṣṇa. This is the instruction, any of us. It's there. Nitya siddha Kṛṣṇa prema sajjikabunoi shravanari surichitte kuryayudoy. That this love for Kṛṣṇa, it's there in the hearts of all living entities. It just has to be ignited. Just like within wood there's fire coming from the sun. Put a match to it, the fire comes out. So by this chanting of Hare Kṛṣṇa, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This love for Kṛṣṇa will get ignited. It'll come out. But we have to be patient. We have to be determined and be patient. I was given a class in Germany one time, Sunday Feast program, and I was speaking about this. I was speaking about how the name of Kṛṣṇa, that Kṛṣṇa is within his name. God is within his name. And one of the guests said, I can't understand how God, Kṛṣṇa, is in his name. How is this possible? So I said, well, to understand this, you have to have some patience. And she said, this word, patience, it's not even in my vocabulary. So this is our Western mood. We want everything now. I've been chanting Hare Krishna for 2 years and I'm not seeing Kṛṣṇa yet. Yeah. Process doesn't work. No, but we've been conditioned souls for how long? A long time. So now, in this one lifetime, we're trying to become pure devotees. Big challenge. We have to be determined and patient. And Kṛṣṇa, he gives us so many nice instructions to help us in this path. Yat kuroshi, yat asnasi, yat juhoti dinasi, yat tapasyasi kalantya, tat kurusha mararpa. Prabhupada says this one verse is the summary of the entire Bhagavad-Gita. This one verse. All that we do, all that we eat, all that we offer and give away, as well as all austerities we perform, should be done as an offering to me. So we're doing so many things. So everything that we're doing should be done for the pleasure of Kṛṣṇa. If we just do that one thing, we're going to make so much advancement. And we know. Now we've been reading the books so much, we know what is pleasing to Kṛṣṇa. We know what isn't pleasing to Kṛṣṇa. If we just do things that are pleasing to Kṛṣṇa, then we're going to make leaps and bounds of advancement in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. And what is it that pleases Kṛṣṇa the most? Who knows? Huh? Preaching, yes. Prabhupada said, if you want to please me, then distribute books. Because this is what is needed. There's so much ignorance in the world, permeated, just overwhelmed with ignorance. And no one knows what to do. So we're giving guidelines for the human form of life. These books are guidelines on how people can live their life. So all that you do, all that you eat, we eat Kṛṣṇa prasadam, nice Kṛṣṇa prasadam. So this is so beneficial for the soul to take Kṛṣṇa prasadam. Prabhupada said our movement is kitchen religion. So all that you do, all that you offer, all that you eat, everything that's offered should be, it's an offering to Kṛṣṇa. Just like before I just start distributing books, I make a prayer to Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa, please accept this as an offering to you. We're doing so many offerings. It's like now they're offering artik, and so much bhoga will be offered to the deities today. So many offerings. We offer the holy name. So everything that we do should be an offering to Kṛṣṇa. And then we get purified. And we offer our lives to Kṛṣṇa. There's a nice pastime of Kṛṣṇa here in Vrindavan. 5,000 years ago, Kṛṣṇa was in Vrindavan with his friends. And his friends, they were feeling a little hungry. And they said, Kṛṣṇa, we're feeling a little hungry. And Kṛṣṇa said, oh, there's some brāhmaṇas. They're doing some yajna right now. Go and ask them. But Kṛṣṇa said, but don't say my name, because I'm a vaiśya. And they kind of look down on the vaiśyas. Say Balaram's name. He's a kṣatriya. He's on a higher level. So they went to the brāhmaṇas and they said, brāhmaṇas, oh brāhmaṇas. Kṛṣṇa, they mentioned Kṛṣṇa anyway. And Balaram, they're here in the forest along with ourselves, and we're feeling some hunger. Please, can you give us some food, some prasadam? And they just completely ignored them. It's like sometimes we're on book distribution and people just ignore us. So these brāhmanas just completely ignored them. And they were a little upset. So they went back to Kṛṣṇa and said, Kṛṣṇa, we asked them and they just ignored us. And Kṛṣṇa said, when you're begging, sometimes you'll get rejection, but don't be disturbed. Don't be disturbed. So this is a little instruction for the book distributors as well. Sometimes we get many no's. Actually, one of the most painful things on book distribution is no's. too many no's. It's hard, the false ego. But actually they're very good because it purifies the false ego. We want everybody to say yes and take a book. But then where's the purification? So you get no's, it's very good. And when people say no, then we thank them because they're helping us become tolerant. This is also service, to be tolerant. Right? So it's very good. So Kṛṣṇa taught them you should be tolerant. Then he said, now go to the wives of the brahmanas. They will want to serve. They went to the wives. And the wives were so enthusiastic. So enthusiastic. As soon as they heard that Kṛṣṇa was here, nearby, and they wanted some prasad, immediately they made arrangements. And they went and they brought all this nice food to Kṛṣṇa and the cowherd boys. And then after they had received the prasadam, then he said, okay, now you can go. They didn't want to leave. Just like the gopis, they didn't want to leave. In dead of night they went. Kṛṣṇa is saying, what are you doing here? It's late at night, wild animals, go home. And what did they say? Kṛṣṇa, only you could say something like this. Here we are, most beautiful women, and you're telling us to go home in the dead of night. So he's also telling these wives of the Brahmanas, you go home. But Kṛṣṇa, they won't accept us now, because back then, if the wife leaves the husband, the wife leaves the children, then they're an outcast. They're not accepted back. Very strict back then. So Kṛṣṇa said, no, they will accept you. And they will even lament that they were not so sincere as you. So Kṛṣṇa convinced them to go back. And sure enough, they lamented that we were not as sincere as our wives. So here's another instruction. The men can learn from the women. The women had more devotion than the men. The big brāhmaṇas, pakka brāhmaṇas, but they didn't have the devotion of the women. So a real brāhmana is a brāhmana Vaishnava. He's a brāhmana, but he's also a devotee. There's a statement, Suchi hoy, muchi hoy, yori Kṛṣṇa tyaje, muchi hoy, suchi hoy, yori Kṛṣṇa bhaje. That one may be born into a very nice, pakka brahmana family, knows all the mulas and the mantras, and just everything is so nice and clean and neat and everything. But if he's not a devotee of Kṛṣṇa, then he's not suchi, he's muchi. Muchi means dirty, cobbler. But, on the other hand, someone may be born in a very lowly family, like many of us in Western families doing all nonsense. But if they become a devotee of Kṛṣṇa, then they become suchi. Born muchi became suchi. So this is the power of Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa is the most pure, and the more we connect with Kṛṣṇa, the more we become purified. And he gives us so many instructions. Again, so many instructions are being given to us. Just like the Bhagavad-Gita, and then there's the Uddhava-Gita. In the Uddhava-Gita, there's a happy verse. Anybody want to know the happy verse? The happy verse is, actually it's not easy to be happy. Akinchanasya dantasya santasya samachetasa maya santusa manasa sarva sukha maya dasha. The first qualification for becoming happy is you got to be free of all material desires. That's a big challenge right there. First thing Kṛṣṇa says, free of material desires. So what's a material desire? A material desire is a selfish desire. I want to please my mind or senses. But what's a pure desire? A desire to serve Kṛṣṇa, to please Kṛṣṇa's senses. This is pure desire. Kṛṣṇa has senses. He's got a mind also. But everything about Kṛṣṇa is pure. So we get purified by coming in contact with Kṛṣṇa. In this contact with Kṛṣṇa, we become free of material desires. Akinchana dantasya. Dantasya means our senses have to be under control. Control the senses. What's someone who controls their senses? Goswami. And there's Godas. To be a Goswami, not easy. Prahlāda Swami said, half of our Goswamis, our sannyasis, have fallen down through the years since ISKCON started. Half. It was not easy to control the senses. Akinchana dantasya santasya, to be peaceful. Krishna Surya, what is it? That a devotee who was peaceful, who was, what is that verse? Huh? Vijay purusam param. Krishna bhakti nishkama ateva shanta bhukti mukti siddhikami sakalya shanta. This is the verse. That devotees of the Lord, they're very peaceful because they don't have material desires. On the other hand, those persons who are bhukti, they have so many material desires. Mukti, they want liberation. Bhukti, mukti, they want some perfection in life. They can't be peaceful because they say, I want for myself. Prabhupada said, as soon as you say, I want for myself, finished. It's all Maya. You say, I want for Kṛṣṇa, then that's Suchi. Santasya, so become peaceful by acting for Kṛṣṇa. Santasya samacetasa means to see everyone equally. Yeah, that's also, it's not easy to see everyone equally, to see your friends and enemies equally. Many times in the Bhagavad-Gita, Kṛṣṇa says that, how he transcendental, he sees everyone equally, the friends, the enemies. It's not easy. Yeah. And then, Maya santustamanasaha, to be satisfied in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. I don't want anything out there in this world. I just want to please Kṛṣṇa. I'm satisfied pleasing Kṛṣṇa, serving Kṛṣṇa. And so Kṛṣṇa goes on to say that anybody who has this mentality, wherever he goes, he only finds happiness. Therefore, this is the happy verse. You only find happiness if we follow these instructions given by Kṛṣṇa. Now someone might say, well, I see people out there, they seem to be happy. Yes, they seem to be happy. That's called maya sukhaya, illusory happiness. It's not real happiness. It's temporary and illusory. But if we follow this instruction by Kṛṣṇa, we're always happy in all circumstances. Even death comes, still the happiness is there. Nothing can shake that devotee if we can follow these instructions. And also there's an amazing pastime in the Srimad Bhagavatam of Dhruva Maharaj. Anybody know how many times Lord Chaitanya heard this pastime of Dhruva Maharaj? 100 times. He heard it over and over and over and over again. So many instructions are there in this pastime of Dhruva Maharaj, who was insulted by his stepmother, Suruchi. You can't sit on my husband's lap. If you want to, then the only way is you have to take birth from my womb. She was a little proud. So he became so angry, he had that kṣatriya spirit. He went crying to his mother. I couldn't go on my father's lap because his stepmother said I had to take birth from her womb in order to do that. And Suniti, she was a little forlorn. She was lamenting, what can I say? I'm not the favorite wife. So he said, what do I do? Well, you should pray to Kṛṣṇa. Oh, and where do I find Kṛṣṇa? Well, there's great saints, they go to the forest. So he went to the forest. He's doing great austerities. Yeah. Narada Muni comes, hey. It's like when someone sincerely wants to serve Kṛṣṇa, then Kṛṣṇa sends a representative. So Narada Muni comes and says, hey, Dhruva, you're just a boy. Well, don't take this so seriously. Just go play. This little thing. Just go play. Thank you for your instructions, Narada, but this is a serious thing I'm doing here. If you can help me, then please help. Otherwise, thanks, but no thanks. So he could see how serious he was. So he had him chanting this verse, familiar verse, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And he did austerity, 6 months austerity. The first month, he was just eating some berries and dry leaves. Every 3 days, he would have this for the month. And then the next month, he was just, I think the first month he was just taking berries, and the next month he was taking dry leaves, something like that. Every 6 days for the month. And then the next month, every 9 days he would drink some water. And the next month, every 12 days, he would take some air. And this was such a serious yajna he was doing that he was suffocating the universe. And then they had to go to Lord Brahma. Hey, what's happening here? What's happening? Or was it Vishnu? So he got to see the Lord Vishnu. And he was lamenting. He said, I was praying for broken glass. He considered, he wanted a kingdom greater than that of Lord Brahma. But he said, I was praying for broken glass. He considered the entire kingdom of Lord Brahma to be broken glass, because now he had attained Kṛṣṇa. He said, but now I've attained you, this great jewel. Kṛṣṇa, great jewel. He was so happy. So then he went home. His father was very happy, and things were going on. And then his brother was killed. So he went on a rampage. He was the king, to kill all the yakshas. And he was a powerful personality. So he was killing thousands of yakshas. So then Manu came, and he said, this is not so good. You're a pure devotee. It's not so good that you're doing this. And he gave an instruction to him. Another amazing instruction. Actually, I have a book distribution story for you in regard to this instruction. In Sweden, there was a devotee distributing books. And one lady came by with a child in the cradle there, in the buggy there, the child. And the child, I guess the child was maybe 3 or 4 years old, grabbed the book. And the mother's trying to get the book from him. But the child wouldn't let go, just had a tight grip. Wouldn't let go. Must have been past life or something. Wouldn't let go. So the lady said, well, how much do I owe you for it? And the devotee understood the unusual circumstance. So he just told her, told her the BBT cost, not even double BBT, just because he understood the situation. So she paid him some money, and then she left. Half hour later, the father comes by with the book. He said, "You ripped off my wife. You saw the child there that wouldn't give it back, and the child also wasn't normal, maybe mentally retarded. So, and it's not even in Swedish." And the devotee said, "I can give you your money back and take the book back, no problem. But please look in the book and you'll see it's in Swedish." So he opened up the book, and this is the verse that he found. This is spoken by Manu. "My dear king, just consider what I have said to you, which will act as medicinal treatment upon disease. Control your anger, for anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. I wish all good fortune for you. Please follow my instructions." As soon as this Swedish man heard that, he put the book under his arm and said, "Thank you," and walked away. Amazing. Kṛṣṇa makes amazing arrangements. So, we get so many wonderful instructions on how to get purified and how to escape this prison. It's not a nice place. It's a place of suffering. Prabhupada was speaking about this, and he said, there's two things that I can't tolerate. Anybody know? Mosquitoes and snoring. And of the two, I can't stand snoring. So then he started speaking about mosquitoes. He said, Kṛṣṇa gives us these small mosquitoes. Yeah. But imagine if Kṛṣṇa had mosquitoes this big. They're a little disturbance, like this big. But imagine if they were this big. So Prabhupada just pointed out that Kṛṣṇa makes this, it's just a little disturbance. It could be much worse, right? Actually, it's interesting that the animal that kills more people than any other is mosquitoes. They carry diseases. So, yeah, it's a dangerous place, this material world. Param yad viparam natesha. Danger at every step. We never know when some danger is going to happen. So therefore we should take very keen shelter of the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa and depart from this place where there's too much danger. On that note, is there any question or comment?
Hare Krishna, thank you, Vijay. You mentioned how it's in austerity and it's difficult to tolerate no's when you read books, but sometimes it happens that we have yes. It sometimes happens that we have yes as well. So people do take books, or we have some success in preaching. So how can we take consciousness in the right place in that case?
Yes, sometimes we also get a lot of yeses, and then we start thinking, now I got it down. Now I know how to do it. And then all of a sudden the no's start coming again. We forget. Yeah, we go out there, we want yeses also. We want people to take books. And there's a certain mentality that we should have to make that conducive for people to take books. 95% of our ability to distribute books is in our consciousness. Therefore, book distribution is so nice because it gives impetus to have good consciousness. You have to chant good rounds because you know you're going out there and you're going to deal with karmis, materialistic people that come here to forget God. Basically, people come here just like we did too. We came here to be God. So we're going out there to convince people that aren't interested in God to take a book about God, about spiritual life. So we had to have very sincere desire to distribute the books, to chant good rounds and read Prabhupada's books, and this way you become prepared. Prabhupada said that by this preaching we're declaring war on Maya. So it's a battle. So when you go on a battle, you got to be prepared. It's like when there's a battlefield, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, before there was these machine guns and bombs and all this. The soldiers, they were in good shape. They had bow and arrow and clubs and all these things. They were in good physical shape. They can go out there and they could fight the opponent. So we also had to be in very good shape. Means good sadhana. So I can imagine, again, we're talking about hundreds of years ago when they actually had to be strong. Imagine one of these guys go out there and he doesn't have his sword, he doesn't have his shield, he just goes out there and he just got his gumption on. What hope? He'll be finished in a very short time, right? So if we go out on book distribution and we're not prepared, if we don't have good sadhana, then it's like going out in the battlefield and just wearing a gumption. No. We have to hear very attentively Prabhupada's books. You have to hear very attentively our rounds. It's a nice thing about book distribution. We have to be prepared. It gives impetus to a nice hearing and chanting. But yeah, if we have that, if we have nice mentality, then so many people will say yes. We have so many good book distributors. So many people say yes because of the mentality. Anything else? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.